thinking about why, why I got involved, why I, what is it about harm reduction that made me so passionate about it? It's actually a very difficult thing to put my finger on. I can't tolerate being told nonsense. I can't stand. When I was a kid in school, I was told from almost the day I started school till the day I finished that I was stupid. I was told that by teachers. And that actually, it left a scar on me. And when someone is telling me something that is not true, I have this feeling, this person thinks I'm thick, telling me this. I'm not stupid, and that's nonsense. So I've got this kind of resistance to being told nonsense. I suppose most people have. But it's very acute with me because, we all have the imposter syndrome, of course. We all think, I'm going to get found out that actually I am stupid, So harm reduction, the whole, when this glue sniffing solvent thing, it just made sense to me because, these kids are doing this, or were doing this at the time. And, nothing that I would say to them as a teacher is going to make them stop. So some people would say, well, it's your moral duty to make them stop. I believe it's my moral duty, if I am capable of helping them to protect themselves, that's what I have to do. That's my duty. And I do see it as a duty, These are people who I'm responsible for, they're in my charge. And if I can see a way of stopping them harming themselves, although they continue to do this behavior that you probably would disapprove of, that to me was a vitally important thing. Adolescence, for example, is a time when kids have to transgress. They have to transgress. It's like almost a duty of adolescents to do what you don't approve of them doing. I always used to say to young teachers, look, the best way to get a kid to do something is to say don't, and then whatever the behavior is, and they're sure to do it because they have to. And it's a time of experimentation, And so kids experiment with drugs. Now then, it's my duty as a parent, as a teacher at the time, to help them. Not to say, okay, you've made your choice, off you go, and if you kill yourself, that's your problem, you've done this. That seems to me what people are saying who don't espouse harm reduction. So my duty is to try and help them through this period so that they come out at the other end alive and safe. Actually, Mark Gilman said to me once, he said, when I came into the drug field, I had two aims. One was to keep people out of prison, the other was to keep them alive. And I think that's a really good way of putting it. We keeping people alive, that's what we're doing. We're keeping people alive. We're stopping people dying, we're stopping people getting ill. And that's the thing about, it's almost a moral duty for me to do this. Because if you don't believe in harm reduction, what do you believe in? What do you believe in? Do you believe in, harm increasing or like harm maximization? I don't agree with harm reduction. I don't agree with reducing harm. I don't agree with stopping people killing themselves. I don't agree with stopping people getting infected. What a load of nonsense. But that is actually what people are saying. So it doesn't make any sense to me at all to have the opposite view. It's just naturally, that's the way I feel. It's the same as my view about drug policy reform. Drug policy reform In other words, regulating the use, the supply and the use of what are now illegal drugs will prevent a lot of the crime that goes on and will prevent all the public health problems associated with it. But deep down with me, that's not why I believe, actually. Of course, I believe that those things happen. But my reason for reforming drug policy is that the state should stay out of the bedroom and the state should not interfere with what you put in your body. If I don't harm someone else, or if some people don't get harmed by what I do, it doesn't interfere with their lives, I believe that people should be allowed to do it. You know? So deep down, fundamentally for me, it's a civil liberties thing. It's like, you know, the freedom principle. Is it called the freedom principle? Is it John Stuart Mill, you know? It's like, you know, the freedom to do what you do without harming anyone else. It's the whole thing where some things are legal, some are illegal. It's just total historical accidents, vested interests, all this kind of thing. So for me, it's a thing of principle more than a thing of pragmatism. But the pragmatism, of course, is something with which I completely agree. But fundamentally, leave people alone, let people live their lives. And if they live their life without harming anyone else, that's it. So that's why I'm attracted to harm reduction. Because, you know, if you don't, it's like the Good Samaritan. You know, you're just walking, people just walking past. It's a thing, it's a kind of duty that I feel, you know. And same with drug policy reform. Leave people alone. Get out of their lives, you know what I mean?